All right, so in this section, I'll be going over learning targets 27 and 28. So let's lock into that part. Here we go. You should have had just one problem in learning target 27. And if you look at this problem here, Rachel made a graph that represents the amount of money she earns, the number of hours she works. The graph is a straight line that passes through the origin, 0, 0, and the point, 1, 7.5. So I went ahead and kind of made a table here, and you can see that it would have, for 0 hours, she makes $0. But for 1 hour, she makes $7.50. And that amount just keeps going up $7.50 for each hour. So you can see here the other values that would be for 2, 3, 4, and 5 hours. Now that's just helpful because I'll refer to it in a moment. Which statements must be true? Well, in part A, Rachel works 7.5 hours a day. We have no idea. It doesn't give us that information, so we can't circle that one because we don't have proof. Letter B, Rachel earns $7.50 per hour. Well, that's true. Okay, we do know that every hour, you can see right here, 1 hour, $7.50, and it keeps going up, $7.50. So part B is true. She's making $7.50 an hour. Part C is not true, though, because it says the rate of change is 1. Well, remember, rate of change is your Y value divided by your X value. So if I do this divided by this, this divided by this, this divided by this, I will get $7.50. That's your rate of change, okay? Because all of these Y values divided by their X values will be $7.50. So that's the rate of change. It's not 1. And in part D, she could work 5 hours and earn $37.50. Well, this is where the table helps me out. In 5 hours, she would make that. So D was also a solution. So you had to have both of those to get that. In learning target 28, there was lots of percent work in this section right here. In number 12, he wanted to spend no more than $18 on a new shirt. So if you kind of work through all of those scenarios, you know, 10% off of this, 15% off that, 25% off this, you can find out their values and you see the ones that are less than 18 bucks. It was A, it was B, it was D, and it was F. Okay, C and E were both too expensive according to the criteria. So number 12 had 4 solutions. Number 13, you had to find how much interest you would earn in 48 months if the principal is $1,200 and the account pays a 7.5% interest rate. They gave you the formula right here. So you really had to just plug in some numbers, the principal, the rate turned into a decimal, and the amount of time, the years, 4. Okay, you had to think this was really months, but think of it as years because that's kind of how interest is calculated. And if you multiply those 3 values, you get 360 bucks for interest. Number 14, if you put $1,500 into a savings account at 4% interest and earned $180 in interest, how long was your money in the bank? Well, now it's the same equation, but they give you the interest and they're asking you about the time. So they also gave you the principal. You turn this into your percent turns to your decimal. And you want to figure this out. Well, if I multiply these, I get 60 times T equals 180. And I can kind of do some quick division to figure out that this has to be 3. Figure out that's the number of years. Number 15, an item that normally costs $75 is marked 15% off. Sales tax is 8%. What's the final price, including tax? There were really 2 steps to this one. Number 1, you had to first figure out the sale price. So what I did here was I kind of took a shortcut. You might have figured out 15% of this and then subtracted it from 75. I came at it a different direction. I know that if it's 15% off, I'm really paying 85% of its regular price. So I did 75 times 85 hundredths, and that'll take me right to the sale price of $63.75. So first, figure out the sale price in some way. Then once you do that, now we want tax on top of that. So that's where the 8% now kicks in. So do your sale price times 8%. And if you did that, you would add the amount of tax back to this. I took another shortcut actually. I multiplied it by 1.08 because you're paying really 100% of this plus 8% more. So think of this as 108%, 1.08. So you end up at 68.85. That's kind of where you should end up for that one right there. Number 16, there was a lot going on here, but basically they were asking, how much will he save by using the deal? Okay, this is a big skill to have, is how much am I saving if I do this compared to if I just pay the normal price? My wife does this all the time, and I appreciate that she does. All right, number 16, if you look in the first corner over here on the left, if he buys 4 sticks for 200 bucks, that's 800 bucks, plus 64 more dollars for tax. So that's what he's paying without a deal. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going to move to the other scenario now. He's paying 3 sticks at full price, and then he's getting a deal on the 4th one. Okay, it's 75% off. So I came at it this way. He's paying 25% of that 4th stick. And if I figure out what he's really paying here, he's paying 650 for the sticks. But we still got to do tax. So if we add on 8%, 650, he's really paying 702. Now the question wasn't how much does each scenario cost. The question was what's the difference between those two options? How much will he save if he uses a deal? So now we just do subtraction. 864 minus 702, and you end up with he's saving $162. Number 17, we get into the percent change with these next two problems. The choir had 72 people show up for tryouts last year, and only 60 people show up this year. Find the percent decrease from last year to this year. Well, we know it's a decrease because the number went down from last year. But remember, to figure out the percent change, you look at how the numbers changed, divided by the original number. So the numbers changed by 12. They went down 12 people. So that's the amount of change. But the original number was last year's number, 72. So if I do the amount of change divided by last year's number, I get a decimal number that's repeating, which I just multiply by 100 to figure out the percent increase or decrease in this case. And it was 16.6%, but you could have said 17%. That was okay. Number 18, during the regular season, tickets for the Cardinals baseball game sell for 20 bucks, but World Series tickets in that same section are selling for 170 though. Yeah, prices go up when the teams start improving, right? What's the percent increase in the ticket price? Again, find out how much things changed first. Normally they're 20 bucks, but for a playoff game, they're 170. So that's a change of $150. And then we want our original number, how much they normally cost, 20 bucks. So 150 divided by 20 is 7.5. But I still got to multiply that by 100 because this is still kind of your decimal number like that one. It's just a lot bigger because there was a big amount of change. So we get 750% increase, which is possible. Okay, that might have thrown some of you off because it's a very big increase, but look at what happened. The price went up almost 8 times what it was, okay, which is kind of like going up almost 800%, and it was close to that. So 750% was your answer. This is the end of the next section. The last section will be the math practice